This is purely the mega deals aspect, which is the finding of the deals, working on the numbers, analyze it, making the offer. Yeah, so there's a few things that we will cover to make sure we get that. But here's what you're looking to achieve. So in any of the strategies that you guys have put in there, the main thing that we're looking to achieve is to find the what? Find the gap. What do we mean by find the gap? All of you are asking about, what profit I'm going to make, what cash flow I'm going to make, what can I get all my money out of the deal? And really, it's in the gap. So traditionally, a lot of people were getting into property investing because they was understanding that there can be a huge benefit of capital gain over a long period of time. Roughly, on average, history tells us that anywhere between sometimes 7 to 10 years, property prices double. Yeah, the market is always going up and then it goes down. Then it goes up and then it goes down. Then it goes up, then it goes down. Just nobody actually knows, how much it goes up by and how much it goes down by and when it's going to go up and when it's going to go down. And anybody that wants to predict any of that stuff or say that they're going to know, it's kind of not, it doesn't really work like that. You could say, well, within the next 5 years, it's going to happen. And it could be 5 years, it could be 6 years, who knows? But ultimately, when we're finding the gap, it doesn't really matter what stage we're in here. So if we look at these stages of, look, there's a period of where it's rising up, yeah, and then there's a period of where it's going down. And nobody knows how much it's going to go up, nobody knows how much it's going to go down. So in these different periods, it doesn't really matter as long as we are finding the gap. Yeah, so what is the gap? What does the gap mean? Yeah, so what the gap means is if I am going to buy here and over a long period of time, let's say this is 10 years here, yeah, then I've got my, so this is the 10-year mark, then I've got my capital appreciation. You see, this is where time, yeah, because this is time along this way here, time created this gap, yeah, this is the gap here. So now I can either sell it and make a profit, that would be the flip style type of strategies, or I can now refinance it and pull any money out, maybe pull additional money out. Some people do this with their residential homes that they live in because they've had it for a period of time, and the price where they bought it here, it's now worth, more, and it's over time where it started to become worth more, which is create that gap. All you need to do, guys, is just wait for 10 years, roughly 7 to 10 years, and that's when you'll find that's where you'll create your gap and wait your money. So and make your money. So how many of you are excited to make some money in the next 10 years? Oh, you don't look so excited about that. Why not? When do you want to make money? Oh, okay, you want to make money now. Okay, so let's have a look. So all it actually then comes down to is we've got to find this gap. So we're going to look at some different numbers that we need to pay attention to create this gap. Now, the first thing that we always say is that we got to start with the end in mind. So what is the end in mind? The end in mind is the GDV. So just the term that's used for the gross development value. That's what's it going to be worth at the end. So you could say in this scenario here, where we're doing this and we're waiting for this to happen, we could say that this is the GDV because this is the point where I'm going to refinance, or this is where my capital gain has happened, and this is my GDV. But rather than wait 10 years here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to say, well, what project are we going to make happen? Like, how are we going to force it? Because this is appreciation, the capital appreciation, this rise up here. How can we force that capital appreciation to happen, not in 10 years, but literally within a few months? There's many ways this can happen, and we're going to cover a couple of basic ones here right now. Yeah, so first of all, what is the end? What product? So let's say, what product can I create to force this appreciation from a place where it's lower right now? Yeah. So it might be a product that is like so flips, for example. The end product could be a family home. So anybody that's come to any of our trainings and they know the M5 Deal Finder, you'll know that obviously based on what it is that you want, your outcome and what goals you set, you're going to have strategies, or you're going to work the strategies that give you the maximum impact. Yeah. Once you got that, you're going to find like what areas these places working, these strategies working. Yeah. And then we're going to go into the finding of the deal. Yeah. Which is what we're going to do today. Yeah. So this product is going to be based on like what strategy gives me the maximum impact for me to get my goals. So I know most of you, if not all of you, have been on that training already. So is this making sense? Yeah, awesome. Good. So let's say it's a flip. Let's start with a flip. So end in mind is a GDV. So what product can I create? And to understand that, I've got to start finding the deals, and that's what we're going to start doing today. But the first thing I'm going to do is I need to know what GDV is. Yeah. And then what I'm going to want to do is from that GDV minus the profit. So what is my desired minimum profit that I want? Yeah. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to minus the costs. Yeah. And as you know, in the trainings that we do and the portals, the online portals, you got breakdown of all these detailed costs, what are involved, but there is going to be help on hand today to figure this stuff out as well. So once I've done that, then it's going to allow me to understand how much I can buy it for. Yeah, make my offer. Yeah, so that now is where we're creating the gap. So my offer is like here where I buy it. Yeah, and my GDV is like here. Yeah, but now it's up to me to go and find something down here which I can spend money on, the costs, yeah, to create then this is really what I bought it for. This whole section here, I bought the property and I spent money on it. And then it's going to take me to the GDV, and that gap there is what? What's that gap? It's my profit. Yeah, this is how it works for a flip. So for example, let's say, okay, let me use one that we did. Yeah, so let's use this. So we had one where we set our sights on a GDV of 210k. Yeah, we definitely wanted to make a minimum of 20k profit. Who would like to make a minimum of 20k profit on a flip in just a few months? Excellent. Okay, good. So there's a few people there. Yeah, so then we had the costs were about 35 in the end. Yeah, so if you get your calculators out, so we say 210, take away my profit, which is 20, take away my 35 of the costs. So this 35 of the cost, like I say, you need to have the breakdown of going to be the refurb that it's going to take you to make it all happen, to produce that end product. You got the buy costs, you got the sell costs, and you got the borrowing costs and all those detailed costs that's all inside that portal, right? Yeah, so that's 210, take away 20, take away 35, which means, I can buy something to work on these numbers, so I can make my offer for 155. Did everybody else get those numbers? Does this make sense so far? Yeah, so now when we're going looking for deals, what we're going to do is we're going to look for something. And it doesn't have to be like, you're not fixated on the numbers here. You're actually looking at a property. So this is where we're looking at the property. Yeah. So when we're going on to the various places to find deals, yeah, this is what I'm looking at, what I can offer. But while I'm looking at it, I'm looking at something where I can create a gap. So someone was saying, I want to know what properties to look for. You want simply from the highest level, you're looking at a property that you can create the biggest gap. So the worse state generally that the property is in, yeah, the lower I can, buy it for. Then I'm going to have to spend a certain amount on it. So this then becomes my total kind of buy price if we're comparing it to this example. Yeah, and then when I spend this money on it, I'm going to create a superior product which gives me a high GDV, and then the gap is in the middle. So if I can find a rundown property, which I know I can spend money on it to get it done up, then that done up value is, and that GDV is then going to help me create that gap. Does that make sense for the flip scenario? Yeah. Type it in the comments. What are you getting from this? What is it you just learned? What is it you realized? What is it you solidified? What is it that you just kind of revised? Yeah, let me know in there what what you actually got from it. Yeah, makes it easy. Yeah, good. Okay. So now let's go on to what might be a rental property. And by the way, so you've got this aspect if you're doing any type of flip strategy. And then if we're going to hold it still, we start with the end in mind, so the GDV. Yeah, but then this time from the GDV, we want to now work out, and generally this can be done on 75%, but this is what we call the drawdown or the loan to value. Let's just keep it simple. So the loan to value. Yeah, what does this mean? It means like if I'm refinancing the GDV, it's going to be, let's say 350k. That means that 75% of 350k is 262,500. Yeah, just for example, that's what this loan to value is. Yeah, but the loan to value is what's important because you may be doing different things. It might not be, I mean, we've just refinanced one at the moment, which was 65% because there's different products, there's different strategy, there's different interest rates depending on your loan to value. So it's whatever's good for the project. So the loan to value is what you want to concentrate on. But for this example, we know we can easily leverage 75%, still get some banging cash flow on the back end, and leverage other people's money, in this case the bank's money. Are you with me so far? Just give me a nod if you're with me. Yeah, okay, good. So GDV is the first thing. Then the second number is just what's the loan to value that I'm going to head for on the refinance, because people are looking for money in, money out deals here. Yeah, and then I'm going to take it away and work out what the costs are. Yeah, once I work out what the costs are, then that is what I can then offer. So in this scenario, let's say it's 90k's worth of cost. So I would take the 262,500, take away my 90,000 of cost. Yeah, that could be the build cost, for example. Then let's just say I'm going to account for another 10k of maybe some planning, the buy cost, some stamp duty. I'm just going to round it up just for the purposes of this. So I'm going to take another 10k. So 90k plus 10k. Let's take that away, equals, so an offer to get all of the money out based on this strategy here would be this much. Yeah, so I again am taking this here, which is the money that's going in, and then this time I need to know what the GDV is, but then my gap is not between what the money I've put in and the GDV. The gap is created between the drawdown and the money I've put in. So then this becomes the gap. Yeah, so that is the gap there. And some people are asking, well, how do I analyze deals and what do I look at floor plans? And this is the great thing, because this is where we can now look at and say, what can we do? Can we look at spending less here? So some people might say, well, I need to spend less. Yeah, well, that can sometimes help, but a massive oversight that people miss out on is, rather than spending less, is to do what? Spend more. Why would I spend more? Because then this, I can go up. I can push this further up, which creates, then this is higher. And so if I'm going to spend, let's say, another 30k, here, it was like, oh wow, another 30k, that's cost. Some people are like, oh, it's not in my budget. Yeah, there's no such thing as a budget. People are like, I only want to buy properties that are 130k and below. You're looking at the wrong thing. It's not how much the property costs. What is it about? What's the only, you need to focus on all these different numbers, yeah, and you need to know what the property is up for, only so you know what to say on the phone. But what's the main thing that you need to look at? Yeah, how much it can make, absolutely. But what's the main thing I'm looking at? It doesn't matter how much it's going to cost me to refurb it. It doesn't matter how much it's, yeah, exactly. You guys are getting it now. It's the gap. The only thing that matters is the gap. And if you can shift your attention from getting emotionally involved with all the other different numbers, like, oh wow, my offer is 162,500, but they're asking 200 for it, so how is that going to happen? Forget this. They can ask what they want. All I want to know is, hey, listen, if I've got to create the gap, yeah, it might be possible for me to buy it for 200, but I might have to spend more money on it to create a higher GDV up here. Does this make sense, guys? This is how you analyze deals. This is how you create deals. I always say it's like you could walk across the beach and maybe, just maybe, if it's your lucky day, you could find something of value, like a piece of gold, a bit of money on the beach. But generally, if you're going to find something of any value, you got to dig a little bit on that beach. You understand? This makes sense. Yeah, and this is all what you're doing here. You're just digging, digging. If I spend 30k on it, 30k more than what I thought, and it was 350, but I spend 30k, but then the GDV rises by 100k. Is that worth it? Yes or no? Yeah, then it's worth it. So these are the things that I gotta look at. Everyone's looking to spend less, where actually you'll find you'll get yourself create a better gap by spending more. Yeah, not like I'm not saying always just go spend more, because there's times where we're spending less, to produce less of a product, but all that matters is the what. What's the only thing that really matters? Is the gap. That's all you got to work on.